Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of the Mates Rates podcast. This is episode 12, and as I mentioned in the last episode, I might be a bit skippy with my weeks, and I missed an episode. I know. I'm sorry, I was working, and it's funny because, I'm back to work, life is back to normal, and I had this bit in my head that I was going to be like, well, now we're out of lockdown and everything's back to normal. All the podcasts that were created during lockdown are going to go away. And I guess I'm no exception. So, yeah, a lot of podcasts are going to drop off, and I missed the episode. I in my head, I was like, you know what? My schedule's coming up. I'm a little bit busy, but it's manageable. No sweat. I can probably figure this one out. Boy, was I wrong. So to give you context, I've been working, so it's currently Saturday the 14th of November, I'm recording this episode. I've been working every single day since last Wednesday. So it's like, what? Leroy's tail's just in the shot. So that's like 10 days worth of work straight. And this last Monday to Friday, I was working 10-hour days. And I was just, oh my God, it's sick. Don't get me wrong, but man, I really wasn't ready for how hectic shit was going to be once things opened up again. And we're just getting brunch with a friend earlier, and I was saying, yeah, everything's going 0 to 100, but like that 100 is more like 1,000. Like it's fucking crazy. So. Yeah, it's been hectic, but it's sick. Yep, as I mentioned before, I'm back at work, blah blah blah, and yeah. So I'm sorry I missed an episode. I'm when you think about it, right? This is like at the start of the year when you go to the gym and there's heaps of motherfuckers there. In like a month's time, they're all going to drop off. New Year's resolutions, they don't stick. So. But holy shit, a lot happened in that week. That's for sure. I have a whole bunch of notes here. So let's just kick it right off and address the elephant in the room. That 2020 fucking election. Wow. That was mental. Has elections ever taken that long to be called? That was like 4 or 5 days of nothing happening, and then they finally called it for Biden. I was just like, I don't remember the last election in particular taking this long in terms of the vote counting. I don't know, like I wasn't following politics like that closely, I guess, for a long time, but yeah, Trump is fucking out of here. And man, I tell you what, I don't give a fuck where you stand politically. You have to admit Trump losing is like the peak meme of 2020. And all the shit that's come out of it since then has been nothing but humor. Like, at this point, I think Trump is trying to be a comedian. So obviously, he's lost. They called it like a week ago or some shit now. And he still thinks that he can win. And at this point, you got to give it to him. You got to be like, all right, this bit's pretty good. Like, you're really going to fight and do all these fucking lawsuits and embarrass yourself even further to try and win again? I don't know. So it has been hilarious, especially the whole recount thing. And man, like, all right, let's just go into like the whole stop the count, keep counting those votes thing. Like, that was just, I don't know. It was just so funny. I couldn't even think of like a bit for it because I was like, that is humor. That's comedy right there. Like, just unfolding in front of us. Quick side note before I do continue. I am filming in like a different nerd hours here. I am filming in like a different like camera codec kind of thing because as I mentioned in my last podcast, this is a pretty like beefy kind of camera setup. It's a bit overkill for a podcast, but I'm trying some new settings. So do I look good? I feel good at the moment, So yeah, back to the election. That was it's been crazy that it's still going, and I think like all the lawsuits have been thrown out now, which is just hilarious. Like everyone's like, "No, dude, you lost. Just chill for a second." And it's funny because it kind of like goes back to again last episode when I was saying like, you know, I had that dude I went to film school with that was just like always trying to win and always trying to get in front of everyone, and yeah, it's pretty much what's happening right now in the election. Also, oh, sorry. I want to apologize if this podcast is a bit rusty. I literally have not had time to even think about this, which is crazy because, like, normally with my workload, I do have time. I'm normally like, okay, cool. I've got a day off here and there, and I can start gathering notes and find things I want to talk about. But this has been on the fly. So I've got a whole bunch of notes here, but they're all like one word shit. So I've got to like look at this and think to myself, all right, what was I thinking in that moment? And then like start talking about it. And there you go. That's what goes into a podcast, folks. Thanks for listening. So yeah, it's been great being back at work. Like as I mentioned in the last episode, I started working with this agency, doing like, okay, so I didn't really fully explain it, but basically I make ads for, like, it's an ad agency. And I realize that like so many people listening to this probably don't understand what entails that. So I make social media ads for companies that work with the agency, and, you know, oh, Leroy's just walking by again. I swear every episode, he just wants to be involved. Not because I close the curtains, because it'll fuck up the lighting and he wants to get up there. He just wants to be involved, and I'm just kind of holding him like a prop. All right, I'll put him down. So, yeah, I do social media ads there, and it's a small crew. There's only like 4 or 5 of us that work there, and it's sick. I love it. Like, it's probably like again, I'm trying not to brag because I want to be sensitive for everyone that's like still out of a fucking job due to this pandemic, but no, it is cool. So yeah, that's what I do for them, make social media ads for a bunch of companies, and that's literally what I was doing all this week that we just had. I was just filming so many ads, but yeah, I got it done and I managed to, like, I'm still working today. I'm still editing for another client today. And yeah, so I managed to get away for, you know, half an hour or so I could talk to you guys and, you know, come in and fill you all in what's happening. But that's another thing that's happened as well. I started working with a couple of YouTubers doing editing for them, which is pretty cool. Like, it's really cool being more involved in the YouTube space because, I haven't mentioned this for episodes, like for so many episodes, and I keep writing it down, I keep going, but now's the perfect time to talk about it. So I did mention when I came back with this podcast, doing it solo, I did mention that, you know, I love things about the internet. I've been a big fan of the YouTube space for a very, very long time. And, you know, I was talking to some friends about this like a couple of weeks ago, but I really can't believe it took me this long to figure out that this is what I want to do. And I've been uploading to YouTube for a while now, but doing like camera content and shit like that. And as I mentioned before, that's just not me. You know, I've just been a fan of more comedy content, and I can't believe it took me like 12 years to figure out that I should be making this kind of content on YouTube. So yeah, that's where I'm at with that. But it is cool working with these 2 dudes on their channels, being involved in the YouTube space even more. It's sick. It's really cool to be a part of it. So, yeah, that's something else that's been going on. And again, it's hard because I want to be like, holy shit, this is crazy, because it is. Like, I honestly have never worked this much in my entire life, ever. And it's great. Like, I'm so happy and grateful, but at the same time, I'm like, oh, I don't want to talk about it because it is really sensitive at the moment. Speaking of sensitive, you've probably heard my cat screaming nonstop for like the last few minutes, like quietly in the background. And I know I've mentioned it before in some podcasts, but he's been extra screamy lately, so he's not being tortured. He's fine. He is disabled, but he's not being tortured. He's fine. He just likes to whinge about everything, you know? So, I don't know, maybe it's preparing us for parenthood. So, yeah, now hey, welcome back to the podcast where I just jump back and forth on topics. But yes, I was gonna say something about the election. I literally just wrote election in my notes, but I had heaps of shit. I kind of wanted to, not heaps of shit, just like funny bits where I was like, I want to talk about this and that. Oh fuck! How is the Four Seasons landscaping? That is like the tip of the cherry, tip of the cake, whatever the fuck you want to call it. That is gold. Like, how do you fuck up that bad as a president? Leroy, get your tail out of the shot. How do you fuck up that bad as a president or like his team when you've just lost the election and instead of going to a hotel which you planned on, you rock up to a landscaping place instead? Oh, guys, this shit just writes itself, honestly, at this point. So, yeah, incredible. Incredibly funny. And just like Trump's lawyer as well acting in that, you know, or not acting. Well, he fucking looked like he was acting, you know, doing the whole, oh wow, all the networks, all that type of shit. And it's just like, man, just take a fucking seat. But I'm pretty sure it's like been officially all called wrapped now. Biden's in front by a lot. And yeah, I know I've been talking about politics for a lot now, but there's nothing else going on at the moment, okay? And it is like very topical to kind of chat about it. So you gotta admit, it has been nothing but funny since the whole thing and like the recounts and shit. And sorry, Trump, you're fired, as you would say in The Apprentice. But what do you think is going to happen now that like Trump's out? You know, like there's been so much speculation online, like if he's going to be still involved in politics and, you know, he's probably going to kick off another reality show now. But I have this weird suspicion that he's just going to be so salty that he lost that he's just going to go on like a late night tweet spree when like, you know, probably the night that he gets dragged out of the White House. He's probably going on a late night tweet spree and just talk shit on everything like confidential to the government. I really hope that happens because I feel like it would make the world a better place, you know? I feel like people have gone their whole lives wondering, you know, what's in Area 51 and was 9/11 an inside job? And I feel like people will be at peace knowing what actually happened with all these things that we've questioned for many years now. And that's my hot take on what I think Trump will do once he's out. Yeah, I don't know. He'll probably just go back to scamming and shit like he always has, you know, running failed businesses and whatnot. It's kind of like my Tony Robbins video, which I think I mentioned that last podcast. A Tony Robbins expose video, I guess, I made. That was kind of like a weird one. I think I've spoken about it before, but it's kind of weird that like I didn't really want to go in on Tony Robbins that much, but it was just something I just wanted to get off my chest. And I was like, well, fuck it. Like, no one cares that much, right? And boy, am I wrong. It has been getting a lot of attention lately and a lot of comments from what I can only assume is Tony Robbins fans. And yeah, it's been taken off at least. I'm getting lots of views on my YouTube video. But yeah, and as I mentioned before, I don't really care that much. And like I mentioned this to someone that like wrote this fucking, it's crazy. I said this in the last episode and like, you know, what's that saying? Like life imitates art or whatever, or yeah, whatever. So this person wrote this massive fucking essay with time codes breaking down my video and how I'm wrong. And I was just like, bro, okay. I just had to level with him. I was like, I don't care about it that much, okay? I just needed some content. But thanks for commenting because, you know, it helps with the YouTube algorithm and whatnot. And then they spun some shit like, oh, I guess you don't care about the stuff that you said about mental health. And I was like, you know what? Sure. Like, if that's what you believe, then fucking go for it. So, yeah. What a wild time it has been on the internet. Quickly going back on the election thing as well. Shout out to that CNN dude that didn't sleep for like fucking 4 days straight. with like doing the screen and shit like that. That was commendable, I guess. I hope that dude gets a pay rise. But yeah, as I've mentioned before, oh my god, I've probably, can we get a count on how many times I said as I've mentioned before? But yeah, Melbourne's going good in terms of like COVID cases and shit, just rubbing salt in the wound to everyone in the world. But we're 15 days straight of zero COVID cases, which is tight. And Kayla and I have been going out a lot, as I said before. And I'll tell you what, it's kind of weird trying to like get back into real life in the sense of like every 2 weeks they keep like giving us more and more freedom to do shit. But I'm still just trying to get used to like this stage, you know what I mean? I'm still just trying to get used to retail being open, for example. We went to the shops. I bought something for the first time because I was like, fuck it, I feel like I need to buy something. So I just bought a hat because I was like, it's coming up this summer, I'll wear it. We're at the van store and I was chatting to the girl there, and it was just like a nice human interaction. Like, it's nice, just chatting, I guess. And so for a while, like for a split second there, I felt like I was in a movie because I was like, I'm not used to chatting to people like that. And we were just chatting, and then at the end she was like, all right, darling, have a good night. And I was like, darling, but I'm wearing my wedding ring. Does she know I'm married? Does she not care? And like, I just started reading into it way too much. Like, it's funny because like some dudes read into it too much, and then they just start like cracking on to it. They're like, I'm gonna marry this girl. So yeah, that's been interesting. Actually, that was the night that Biden flipped Georgia and Pennsylvania. I don't know why. I just thought I'd timestamp that moment of my life. So, anyways, moving on. As I've mentioned, oh my god. Okay, I'm not going to say that before. I'm not going to say that. I'm going to try and not say that anymore. I got a new iPhone, iPhone 12 Pro. got to drop the Pro in there. And it's been really cool. The problem was, right, so when we got the phones, this is such a first world problem thing to have. And I was gonna talk about that as well. Like, so I may as well just kind of touch on it now. But I was poor for a very long time. There were some parts of my life I made some terrible life choices, and it basically ended up me being broke for many years of my adult life, and only now in the last few years I've been doing well financially. I'm not like rich by any means, but I can kind of pay for things without like stressing about them. But like every now and then when I want to talk about new tech and things like that, it keeps me, it's gonna be shit to say, but it does humble me in a way of like, oh shit, it's crazy that, PS5, for example, I've pre-ordered that. I'm still waiting on it, but I managed to just buy that and just not stress too much about how, like, it's being worth $700 or whatever like that. And, probably like 5-6 years ago, couldn't even fathom spending that much money. So I'm in like a good spot in that sense. So it gets a bit weird talking about that. I don't know where I was going with that. Oh, God, definitely not trying to brag about my money, but I'm sure as shit thinking that that's going to be twisted like that. So, anyways, this is what I'm trying to allude to, is that all this stuff is first world problems, but every now and then I think to myself, hey, you were broke for a long ass time. Don't be too much of a dick about it. So, but we got the new iPhone 12s, and the thing is, right, I obviously have just been taking heaps of photos and videos because it's what I do. And then like airdropping shit to my phone, like videos that I have. And basically like I have 256 gigs of storage, completely filled the fucking phone. And then I tried to back it up and my phone was just like, my computer was like, nah, dog, you got way too much shit on here. We can't even back it up. So then I started trying to delete plugging in my phone into the computer and taking all the photos off because I have like 25,000 photos and I was taking them all off, but it was taking forever because I was having to do them in like batches of like 300 or some shit like that. Anyways, it still didn't work. And then I found out that you could, oh, that's right. Because I went to back up my phone. So when I plugged in my new phone, I could just, say, restore this from that and blah, blah, blah. It's all done. Welcome to Tech Hour. But anyways, so I did that and Caitlin found out that because we backed hers up because it's only got like 60 gigs on there. And then we found out that you can just like use the camera tool over the thing, like over your old phone, and it just starts transferring the data like over Bluetooth. And it reminded me of Digimon. I was just like, this is fucking sick. I was like very excited as a nerd completely. So yeah, and it's funny because I really do pride myself on file organization. I know Caitlin's probably going to listen to this and laugh when I say that, but I do in terms of like my work shit. Everything is like really nice and neat in folders. It's easy to find. And yeah, I pride myself on that. But when it comes to my phone, everything's just a complete fucking mess. And she always gives me shit because I just have so many random apps on my phone that I've never touched before. And I just have them there. So yeah, I don't know. And like, yeah, trying to do that, like organize all those photos fucking sucked. And I'm still trying to do it now because I just want to clear space again so I don't have to do that. But fuck, that was so painful. But yeah, new iPhone's sick in terms of like photo and video. And it really got me thinking like, if you are a creative out there, because like my phone plan's like $100 a month or something like that. So it's not that expensive and the photos are mental. And I know $100 a month might be a lot for some people. And at one point it definitely was for me, but you like that tool, if you want to be into like photo and video, it's fucking sick. Like you have no excuse not to create shit now because of how well these iPhones are configured, I guess, in the sense of taking photos and shit. Obviously, they'll never replace big cameras, I hope. I'm just waiting for Apple to just like release that. Did they? No, they didn't release a camera, but they had like the rights to Red for something. I don't know. Real tech hour shit here, guys. Again, very sketchy. Not sketchy, scattered episode. So, but yeah, Apple will announce their new computers as well, which I'm really excited to see how that goes. Because again, if you know nerd shit, you know how interesting it's going to be because they don't use like the Intel chips anymore. So, making their own stuff, and I'm really interested to see how it goes. I want to go in depth because not everyone watching this is like a nerd like me, but there you go. So, speaking of nostalgia, now that I brought up Digimon, Pokemon cards are going off its tits at the moment. Off its tits? Sure, we're going with that. So we all know like Pokemon card, and everyone's been talking about Pokemon card collecting, and Logan Paul did his like massive stream. And I've got mates that have been collecting Pokemon cards for ages. I've got a mate, Nathan, from such YouTube channels as That's So Nathan, if you remember, OG prank channels back in the day. I actually filmed one of these prank videos in Melbourne. It wasn't anything bad or crude. Like prank videos back then were a lot more wholesome compared to how they are now. Now it's just like, I went to the hood with a fake gun and tried to start a gunfight with a gang. Gone wrong. So yeah, I filmed a prank video with him, which was like pretty fun. Anyway, so he's been collecting Pokemon cards for years, and he just put up a Charizard. And I wonder where it's at now because he had a Charizard card. I don't know what type because I don't know the Pokemon card world that much. If I did, I'd probably be rich as fuck. But he bought one for like this Pokemon card for like $300 or $500, and he put up on eBay. In the first hour, it got up to $2,000. I was just like, oh shit, he's gonna make bank off that. But yeah, it's crazy the amount of like, would there be gatekeeping in? Yeah, there would be, I guess, like gatekeeping in Pokemon card collectibles. Like collecting Pokemon cards. It's just like this weird like gatekeeping kind of thing. Because I guess some people want to invest in them just purely for the money, like a transactional thing. And I feel like in the Pokemon world, that's like a big no. I don't know. I'm not talking out of experience here. I'm just trying to like get the understanding behind it, because these Pokemon cards, they're so like, some of them are going for hundreds of thousands of dollars. And I'm like, who is the one like evaluating these and setting these prices, and why have they all of a sudden just gone up? Is it just like a demand thing? Like, was it just some random dude? Was it Pokemon themselves that set these prices? Like, I'm really just trying to figure out. I should have done some research before I went into this, but it was just like this thought that I had, and it got me thinking a lot about film cameras as well. So I've been into film photography for years now, and I'm not going to say I'm like a big film camera dude. I'm not. I'm literally just a hobbyist. But I've got a Canon AE1 I'm looking at right now on my shelf. It's like the entry-level film camera, right? And it was fine. I got it for like $100, I think it was, and I got it like 3-ish years ago, I want to say, 3-4 years ago. And yeah, it's fine. Like, I just take it on holiday. I take some film photos. It's fun. It's like a fun little hobby for me. And there has been like a massive explosion in film photography. And that camera now that I just said I bought for $100 a few years ago, are now going for like $400-$500. And I'm like, these cameras aren't rare. Like, you know what I mean? Like, back in the day, you could go anywhere and buy these cameras. So it's just kind of weird how things that are like considered vintage and like the evaluation from it goes back to the contacts. And I don't want to talk about it too much, but I have written something that I'm talking about this subject. But the contacts, T2, I think it is, a point and shoot. I think that camera was worth like, I don't know, it's just like $500 or something like that. And mind you, this camera is like a big deal in a sense. In some sense, this camera is a big deal. Like, it is a really good point and shoot film camera, and it was like a pretty sought out thing back in the day. But I think it was like Kendall Jenner or something like that did like a red carpet event and shot with that camera. And now the camera, it was like $500. I know people that bought it for like $500. They're now going for like $2,000. All because like she walked the red carpet with it one time, and then she took a few photos, and boom, it's a wrap. And some people got very rich, and then the film community got really pissed off. But I'm like, where are these evaluations coming from? You know what I mean? So obviously Kendall Jenner had like a massive impact on it. I'm like, are we really going to just bump the price up of these cameras because of fucking celebrities? I don't know. The amount of gatekeeping going on is crazy. So 2 more things I kind of want to talk about. You know what, gang? This is going to be a short episode, and I'm sorry, but it might be good for some people. They're keeping this short. So I've noticed over the years of consuming YouTube content for forever, so many YouTubers now, and even like big ones, like people have millions of subscribers, so they've got money. They have the shittest sound design in post-production. And look, at that rate, you're probably at that like height of being a YouTuber, you're probably paying for an editor or something like that. Just work on the sound. I'm not a sound design dude myself, all right? And I'm not saying hire a composer for your vlog where you went to Seattle in the fall and you drank your Starbucks. Just stock standard like audio levels. Because Caitlin and I are sometimes in bed watching YouTube, and it'll go from like the vlog part to the music part, and it just starts like going crazy like a fucking Christopher Nolan film. And I'm like, it does that. You don't just work on your sound design, okay? I don't understand. And yeah, I just wanted to complain about that for a second, because it kind of frustrates me, especially like some of these YouTubers have been on the platform for a long time, and they do, like, obviously they've been on the platform a long time, they've got a big following. It's like, how have you gone this many years down the track and not figured this shit out yet? I don't know. So that comes from me as an official YouTuber editor now. So hey, if you are out there, if you're watching this and you've got millions of subscribers and you think your sound is shit, send it to me and I'll fix her up. I'm no expert sound design, but I can make it like just sound better. Okay? You can trust me. I've got a podcast. You should listen to it sometime. Yep. So going on to the last thing, I guess. Fuck, very short episode today, gang. We are back on our doco train. So Kayla and I love documentary series and shit like that. We're just obsessed with that kind of shit. I don't know if I've spoken about this in another podcast episode, but during lockdown we watched McMillions, and everyone was telling us to watch it, and holy shit, I could not recommend a documentary higher than McMillions. I'm sitting here trying to fathom the words to express how I feel about that documentary. It's an incredible documentary. Like the way that the whole thing is set out is just incredible, and like all the different like branches of the story that goes, it's incredible. So I highly recommend everyone watch McMillions because it's an amazing documentary. Real quick as well, like probably one of my favorite doco series is the Defiant Ones. Everyone should watch that, no matter if you come from a music background or creative background or not creative. You should watch it. Incredible story behind that. And then like obviously we've watched documentaries like I Am a Killer, and so we're into like crime documentaries because it's cool like watching the pieces come together. But there's times where I'm just sitting there and like there's like, you know, like that one episode where it's like, okay, they're obviously following a lead that's going to go nowhere. Just kind of want to pull out my phone and just like look up what happened and like just spoil it for myself because I'm like, I don't care about this episode, so I'm just trying to get to the end. So that's what I kind of, that's my thought patterns with sometimes with crime docos. The Beast. I actually got Apple TV, like a free year of Apple TV with my iPhone. So I think I'm gonna watch the Beastie Boys documentary. God, whenever the fuck I have free time next. I think like towards the end of next week I'll have some free time, so I'll do it then. So, anyways, we're currently watching. Well, we just finished Unsolved Mysteries season 2. Unsolved Mysteries is an incredible documentary series, but it's the most frustrating documentary series I've ever watched because, as you can tell by the title, it's unsolved. So you go like an hour watching and going down all these like, and mind you, it's more than just like disappearances and murder mystery shit. There's like some crazy like supernatural stuff. Like in season 1, there's this episode where they talk about being like abducted by UFOs, and I was like, okay, this is just. I was like, what are you doing here? Like, this is just stupid. But then they interviewed even more people that had no connection to the other person in like a different town, and they can recount this exact event that happened. And I was just like, oh shit. So Trump, if you're listening to this, buddy, are aliens real? Just let us know. Just let that slip in a tweet. I'm sure you can just, that's in your character limit. Just say aliens are real with the peace emoji, and that's it. So, yeah, Unsolved Mysteries is like really frustrating because you don't know what happens at the end, and it's crazy going that long and just not, it's just like jerking off, and then you get interrupted before you nut. You'll never know that feeling, and it's just like, okay, cool, I didn't nut, so you just get blue balled. That's what it should be called, blue ball mysteries, because you just left hanging. Great analogy there. But yeah, I was thinking of another documentary that we need to bring back. We need to bring back Don't Fuck with Cats. Oh my God, that documentary is insane. If you're like the 3 people in the world that have not watched that documentary yet, one, how fucking dare you? You should definitely watch it. Mind you, some people don't have Netflix. My in-laws don't have Netflix accounts, and we're trying to get them set up for it because we want them to watch Don't Fuck with Cats and many other great documentary series that we're watching. Because it's kind of weird. They come over and we're like, oh, we watched this, and then we can't have that interaction because they don't have Netflix. Anyways, it's a whole thing. So I want to bring back Don't Fuck with Cats because if you don't know it, it's a documentary of this sicko dude who killed a cat on like live stream or a video and put it on Facebook, and all these people like go out, and these people on the internet create Facebook groups to try and hunt this dude down. It is the most again, it is fucking wild how many different routes this documentary goes down. Anyways, basically, to spoil it, because that one is solved. That is a solved mystery. They find out the dude who did it, but it wasn't the cops. It was these people on the internet. They found out everything about this dude. Oh my God. It's wild. I wonder what that girl is doing at the moment, because there's this thing at the end, like the last episode, and she looks directly at camera. She's like, "And are you complicit for watching and sharing that video on Facebook?" And I was like, "Me? No. I love cats. My cat is sleeping right here next to me right now. Don't put that on me." It's funny. I think that girl was just like, she works security at like at a casino in Vegas or some shit like that. Something like that. And she figured it out. I was like, that's sick. That's a movie in itself. So, yeah. I reckon we need to bring back those kind of documentaries. Lion King, I'm kind of like... Remember Lion King? Remember, like, at the start of this fucking lockdown, at the when all of Australia was in lockdown? And we're like, oh, Tiger King? Fuck yeah. This is going to be a sick doco. And like, we can just talk about it over Zoom with mates. And this whole pandemic is going to be over in like a month. That was in March. Just remember that. So, or April, whatever. It doesn't fucking matter. It was a long ass time ago. Yeah, in hindsight, it's funny how like things like Tiger King were so massive, and now no one just gives a shit about it. But like, in a sense of like, in hindsight, you're like, yeah, Joe is a fuckwit. You know, and like, why do we care about this as much? I don't know. That's just things I think about. It is wild though. Carol Baskin was on Dancing with the Stars, and on the opening episode where she was doing a dance routine or whatever, and during the ads, her ex-husband's family made like a PSA being like, "Hey, do you know where our fucking dad is? We think Carol killed her. If you know any info, we got a fat reward for you." Wow. I could just only imagine what it would be like to be Carol Baskin watching that episode and seeing that. Crazy. And it's fucking insane how the networks approved it as well. I actually, you know what? I can believe the networks approved it. The networks would have been like, Dancing with the Stars, it's dying. I think that is the last season in America. Anyways, they're like, yeah, this show's obviously fucking dying because no one's watching it. What should we get? Carol Baskin, and then the family comes with the ad, and we're like, let's run it. So, yeah, what a wild pandemic time we live in. Oh yeah, speaking of pandemic, Kayla and I were like kind of thinking on what kind of theories there would be about what's going to happen once Biden's in terms of, you know, how America going to recover from it. And we're both like, I think like I read an article, it could be fake news, as Trump says. I think I read an article, someone saying like Biden wants to propose like a nationwide lockdown for a month. And I'm like, bro, that ain't happening. Like, you had 70 million people voting for Trump. They ain't going to be locked in their homes for a month, no matter what money you throw at them, okay? Like, we're pretty fortunate here in Australia that things kind of worked out the way that they did. Kind of worked out the way they did with a little asterisk. In terms of, like, the government helping out. Pause. For dramatic effect. Yeah, but it's far too gone in America as well for like their numbers. So I honestly, it's either going to be like herd immunity kind of thing, or they're just going to wait out till the vaccine. They're like, because by the time Biden gets in, it's like January, right? So it'll be like March, I think, when the vaccine will be ready, because in Australia, they're starting to distribute the vaccine, I think, to like limited people to see if it works or some shit. I don't know. I'm not a fucking scientist. That's why we should trust scientists. Speaking of that, actually, there was this funny thread I saw on Reddit. So this person on September 15th when we were still getting like, I think our 14-day average was like fucking 20 or something like that. They made a post saying, hey, look, I know it might seem doomy and like the roadmap to get out of here to open up in Melbourne is unrealistic, but trust me, it's going to work. And all these people were like, no, we can never get 14-day average, blah, blah. So they made a thread like a couple of days ago labeled, I told you so. No, it was yesterday. Yeah, on Friday, we had the 14 days of 0 cases. They made a post saying, I told you so. They went into it saying, like, I've been studying science and, fucking viruses and shit like that. And they're like, I knew this was going to happen. I knew the roadmap was going to work. It was just a matter of when it would actually work. So, yeah, and then the person went through the comments and grabbed all the comments from the previous thread, put them in and just said, I told you so, and explained it. I was just like, man, what a long-winded kind of victory that was. It's kind of like how Trump told Greta, that Greta Thunberg chick. Oh, I'm so sorry, I butchered her last name. The one that's like the climate activist, saying she should chill out and watch a movie. And then when Trump lost the election was like, oh, it's a scam or fucking whatever. It was rigged and voter fraud and all this shit. She quote tweeted and word for word said what Trump said to her a year ago. I was like, man. It's like you waited a whole 12 months to make that joke. Well done. Props to you. Anyways, gang, I'm going to pop off. I'm sorry if this episode was really scattered and over the place. I'm still really out of it because of work and shit, and I'm still going to be working. Last week was really fucking hectic, but I think things are kind of going to work out from here on out. So hopefully it was just that one episode we missed, and if I miss another, I miss another one because honestly, I really got to focus on work at the moment, as you could probably tell. But I do appreciate the people that do still tune into this episode. And same with my main YouTube channel. I've got ideas and things I want to do. It's just a matter of time. So bear with me. There will be more stuff coming for the, fucking 6 people that care. But I really do appreciate everyone taking the time out and listening to me ramble. I really do appreciate it. So thank you all. And as always, if you're listening to this on iTunes, give it a rating. Spotify, I still haven't figured out if you can do ratings on Spotify. Probably not. I don't know. And if you're watching this on YouTube, remember to like, comment, subscribe. Only if you wish, though. Those are things that you can just do for free to help me out. But if not, I'm just glad. I'm just happy you guys are here, to be honest. I really am. All right. Have a good one. And I'll see you next week, hopefully. Peace.